Alright, are you tired of the taxman's grubby hands all over your money? Then you damn well need the ISA. You probably heard your mate, Dave down the pub drone on about his stocks and shares ISA. But what is it actually, and why should you actually even give a toss about it? Well, simple. If keeping all your savings and investment growth 100% tax-free doesn't light a fire under you, then I don't know what will. So stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll leave with 3 things. 1. The real no BS story on ISAs. How they shield your cash from the tax vultures. Exactly which ISA is your perfect match. So no more guessing games based on what Dave down the pub reckons. And the crucial new ISA rule changes that most clueless sheep haven't even sniffed out yet. I'll even provide a killer decision tree, so it's your own personal GPS to making the right decision on selecting your ISAs. Alright, so what is this ISA beast everyone's whispering about? Now imagine your ISA, which by the way stands for Individual Savings Account, as a high-end financial force field. So you chuck your cash, your shares, even those risky peer-to-peer loans in there if you're feeling like a bit of a daredevil. The ISA itself isn't the treasure, by the way. It's the damn electrified fence that keeps the thieves out. See, normally your hard-earned money will start making more money. And who sniffs it out? Our old pal. Let's call him Tyrone the Taxman. And Tyrone, he's got the stickiest fingers in the game. He swoops in like a greased up seagull after your last chip. He slaps fancy labels on it, income tax, dividend tax, capital gains tax. It's all just code for Tyrone's robbing you blind. All that interest, invisible. Any dividends you get, he can't lay a finger on them. If you're raking a massive profit when you sell up years later, not a bloody penny for Tyrone. It's 100% yours, tax-free, completely, utterly, gloriously shielded from his greedy thieving mitts. So nail this to your brain. The ISA isn't the investment itself, it's the hardcore tax-proof wrapper that you stash it in. Alright. I can practically hear your brains whirring, My savings pot isn't exactly superstar level, so why should I lose any sleep over any tax? And you know what? Maybe a few years back, you could get away with that kind of blissful ignorance. Not anymore. You see, those tax-free allowances, they're shrinking fast. And guess what? Interest rates have finally decided to wake up from their long coma. Suddenly, normal folks, people like you and me, we're getting ambushed by our old mate Tyrone. Damn Tyrone. See? There's this thing called the personal savings allowance. Now, if you're a basic rate taxpayer, you can make up to £1,000 in interest tax-free. Sounds okay, right? But if you're a higher rate taxpayer, well, too bad for you, because Tyrone slashes that down to a measly £500. Additional rate taxpayer, forget it, chum. Tyrone's got his mitts on every single penny of your interest right from the get-go. At today's rates, even a modest pile of savings can chuck you over that limit. And next thing that you know, Tyrone's not just knocking, he's kicking down your damn door. Okay, smartass, you're thinking, but I'm an investor. I'm not just a saver. Well, fair enough, but don't think Tyrone's forgotten about you. Got dividends from your shares? Well, that allowance used to be a decent £2,000, then was sliced down to £1,000. And now, for this 2025-26 tax year, it's a pathetic £500. 500 quid. Tyrone's not even trying to hide his greed anymore, is he? And what if your investments actually do their job and they make you a nice profit when you sell? Champagne and confetti? Not so fast. Tyrone's there, rubbing his hands with his capital gains tax. Yeah, there's an allowance, but it's been brutally hacked down. It used to be about £12,000 not so long ago, then £6,000, and for this tax year, it's a paltry £3,000. So relying on these scraps is kind of like trusting a chocolate teapot. Absolutely pointless. Trying to dodge tax with these shrinking allowances is like playing Russian roulette with your earnings. So that's why you bloody well bother with this. Because outside of that ISA force field, every single penny that your money makes is cowering. It's just waiting for Tyrone to pounce. But inside the ISA, it's pure blissful peace. Your cash can actually kick back, crack open a tiny beer, and grow fat and happy, knowing it's totally invisible to those tax-grabbing vultures. Tyrone. Say you stash away £200 a month. Peanuts, right? If you do that for 20 years, that's 48k of your own cash. Now let's say that your investments grind out a steady 7% a year. You're not winning the lottery, just decent, solid growth. Yeah, the usual disclaimer. Your investments can go down, they can go up, they can go sideways. Past performance means jack, blah, blah, blah. Don't come crying to me if you lose your shirt. Okay, scenario 1. You do this outside an ISA. Your pot swells to a cool 100k. Nice. But here comes Tyrone, sneakily munching on your dividends year after year. And then when you decide to cash out that 100k with a tasty 52k profit, what does Tyrone do? He hits you with capital gain sledgehammer. After he's had his fill, your 100k is now more like 88k. Thanks for nothing, Tyrone. Now, scenario 2. You are inside the ISA force field. It's the same £200 a month, the same 20 years, the same 7% growth, the same 100k pot. But this time, it's all wrapped up tight in the ISA. So now, how much does greedy Tyrone snatch? Well, let me do the complex maths here. Carrying nothing, and the grand total Tyrone gets is 0. Zilch. You see, an ISA isn't just a tax blocker, it's a supercharger for your money, because without Tyrone constantly dragging it down, your cash isn't just growing, it's compounding like a beast on steroids. Think of it as sprinting downhill with a hurricane at your back. So your money gets bigger, faster, and with way less sweat from you. Honestly, it's the closest that you will ever get to free money without actually getting arrested for it. Alright, now let's dissect this ISA family. You have to think of them less like a cozy sitcom family and more like a crew of highly specialized operatives in your financial arsenal. Each one with a unique skill set for kicking Tyrone exactly where it hurts. First, you have the old faithful, is the good old cash ISA. This is your bomb-proof bunker. It's dead simple. It's a basic savings account, but it's wrapped up in that glorious tax-proof force field. So every single penny of interest that you earn, well, Tyrone can't sniff it. It's perfect for your emergency stash, so cash for when life throws you a grenade. It's ideal for short-term rates like a house deposit, so 1 to 3 years of savings, or a new car, or a blowout holiday that you damn well deserve. The upside? Well, it's simple and safe as hell, because your money is there exactly when you need it. There's no confusing jargon. The downside now, let's be honest, the interest rates often are utterly pants. You barely keep up with a snail's pace. And don't forget inflation, that silent assassin. And now we move on to the high roller, the stocks and shares ISA. Now guys, this is the one with the potential to actually make you some serious wage. It does this by wrapping the ISA's tax blocking superpowers around your investments. The real magic here, 0 tax on any dividends spat out. And get this, absolutely 0 tax on any profits, capital gains for example, when you cash in on your chips. It is your weapon for long-term domination. So if you're saving for something, say 5, 10, 20 years off, perhaps you save it for retirement or funding your kids' escape from your basement, or that, round the world trip when you finally tell your boss where to stick it. The upside, well, historically, when you chuck your money into the market, it offers you the best shot at crushing inflation, and it also helps grow your money like a monster really, long term. The downside, investments are a roller coaster. They are not a gentle merry-go-round. They will go down as well as go up. So you need balls of steel to ride out the market's mood swings. No crying allowed here. Now next we have the sweetheart deal. It's the lifetime ISA, often called the LISA. The LISA is the golden child, and it dangles a juicy government bribe, shoving up to £4,000 a year. And the government, yes, the same people who hire Tyrone, bloody Tyrone, they will chuck in a free 25% bonus, up to £1,000 a year on the house. Now note that this 4k actually counts towards your main 20k ISA limit. The LISA is super specific and is focused on either getting your first home. Also, it's useful for boosting your retirement pot, but you can only access it penalty free from when you're 60 years old. Now, the upside is that 25 bonus that you get from the government is an instant unbeatable return. Now, the downside, if you withdraw that money, if you touch that money before you're 60 years old for any reason other than buying your first gaff, or you suffer a terminal illness, they will immediately slap you with a 25% charge on everything. So you lose their bonus and you also lose a chunk of your own cash. Ouch. Plus, you can only open in between the ages of 18 to 39. There's no paying in after your age 50. And that 450k house price cap, well, that's a bloody joke in a lot of UK hotspots. Now we have the wild card. It's the innovative finance ISA, or the IFISA. Now with the IFISA, we're moving into dodgier territory. You see, this is because this bad boy wraps the tax shield around peer-to-peer lending. So basically, you're lending your cash directly to people or to businesses via an online platform, and all the interest you earn is tax-free. Now, if you're chasing higher interest, rates than cash ISAs, and you have an appetite for serious risk, well, then this might be for you. But for God's sakes, please do your homework until your eyes bleed. Now, the upside with this ISA is it can offer you better rates than, bog standard cash savings. Well, sometimes. The downside is that it's way higher risk, and your borrowers might go belly up, taking all your cash. The platforms that you're lending on could collapse. Honestly, if you're scratching your head thinking, what the hell is peer-to-peer lending? Well, this ain't for you, mate. Seriously, walk away. Stick to the grown-up ISAs. And finally, you have the legacy builder, the junior ISAs, often called the JISAs. Now, this is a separate tax-proof onesies for the under 18s, and it has its own generous allowance up to £9,000 for this year, and it's totally separate from your own 20k allowance. Now, you as a parent, you play the puppet master with this ISA, but the cash actually belongs to the kid. They get a say on how it's invested at when they turn 16, but when they turn 18, then they have full control of it. Note that it can be cash or stocks and shares ISA. It can be a useful way to help build a tax-free war chest for your kids' future, uni fees, or a deposit on their first shoebox flat, or a hefty head start in life. So there's your ISA lineup, the full motley crew. Remember, each one is a specialist. Figure out exactly what your money needs to do, how much risk you can stomach, and then you pick the right damn tool or tools. Now, remember that 20k ISA limit I dropped earlier? Yeah, the government isn't completely off its rocker. They will not let you shield unlimited cash from Tyrone. So each tax year, you get a 20k allowance to stuff into these tax-proof wrappers. It resets on April 6th, so you have to use it or lose it. No crying, no rollovers. Now, here's some intel. They slipped in some sneaky rule changes back in April 2024 that, most Muppets still haven't clocked on. 1. ISA hoarding is in. You can now open multiple ISAs of the same type each year. Do you fancy a couple of cash ISAs and a stock and share one with different providers? Well, go nuts. The only catch is still just one lifetime ISA or one LISA per year. 2, partial transfers are now a thing. No more all or nothing when you're moving your ISA stash. You can shift bits and pieces between ISAs like some financial ninja if you want to. 3, sorry kids, the grown-up ISAs, the cash, the stocks and shares, etc., they are now strictly 18 plus. It used to be 16 for cash in the past, but not anymore. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, guys. Blame the chancellor. Now here's the bonus tip. You have flexible ISAs. Some ISAs, and they're mainly the cash ones, are flexible. This means that you can take your cash out and then you can put it back in within the same tax year without hammering on your 20k allowance. Now, this is dead handy for big spends, like a house deposit. And to be honest, this is something that I've actually taken advantage of. But you need to check the damn small print because not all providers offer it. So there you go. ISA Rules of Engagement 2025 edition. Know them, use them. Okay, buckle up for a crucial pit stop. Risk. Who's got your back when the shit hits the fan? And who leaves you hanging? Now, you have the cash ISA. This is the lowest risk for your actual cash. And your quid generally stays a quid. Plus some tiny interest. And here's the kicker. If the bank goes belly up, you have the Financial Service Compensation Scheme, or the FSCS for short, and usually protects you up to 85k per institution. The real enemy here is inflation. Now, with the stocks and shares ISA, the risk does ramp up a bit here because, markets can bounce, like a kangaroo on a trampoline. You could definitely get back less than you actually put in. The FSCS will protect any uninvested cash in your stocks and share ISA up to 85k, but it doesn't cover your losses if your investments simply tank. That's on you, mate. Now, with the IFISA, well, this is the danger zone, brother, because you are lending your cash out. What if the borrower does a runner or the platform itself vanishes? Crucially, IFISAs are not FSCS protected, so if it goes pear-shaped, well, your entire stake could be toast. Now, with the lifetime ISA, the risk here depends on the flavor that you're using. Is it a cash ISA? Well, then that's low risk and you have FSCS, protecting you. If it's a stocks and share ISA, well, it's a higher risk and FSCS will only protect you on uninvested cash. But the unique LISA risk is that brutal 25% penalty if you were to take your cash early on for unapproved reasons. So, know your risks. Cash ISAs are your safety deposit box with FSC as backup. Stocks and shares ISAs, well, you're playing the markets here. As for if ISAs, well, only handle if you know your onions, mate. So which ISA actually fits your goals? Well, short-term safety first, go for the cash ISA. If you're looking for long-term growth and you're okay with a bit of risk, well, go for the stocks and shares ISA. Are you looking to buy your first home or saving up for retirement? Well then, LISA all day. If you're feeling adventurous, well, maybe peek at an if ISA. Do you have kids? Junior ISA for the win. Are you confused about which ISA to actually go for? Well, don't be a lemon, because I've got a decision tree that will practically force the right choice on you. The link to download this essential bit of kit is lurking in the description box below, so get it sorted. What are you waiting for?